Greetings and welcome back to the very first quarterfinal featuring Grondious and Gameguysd. I'm KatherineOfTheSky and I am here with the wonderful Avalon, and we're going to be excited to present level 5-3. It's first time we've seen Sector 5. What are you expecting, Avalon?
Well, I'll be honest, I've seen this level before. I've been through this game and I've enjoyed it. And I tell you what, Catherine, you talk about the visuals of this game a lot. Be prepared to be absolutely blown away because Sector 5 is beautiful.
Wow, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see what we are going to see here. It's going to be a surprise for me, so I'll point out anything that I notice as new that we haven't seen in previous sectors, because that's one of the cool features of this game. We are seeing a lot of stuff that is just brand new for each sector to kind of test the player and just have the player use their imagination to get to further stages in the game and just like change it up so it's not all the same in each sector. Really, really excited for this match.
Yeah, and that imagination's really going to be important here. This is the first time either of these runners are going to see this level. They haven't had access to it at any point prior to today. So it's going to be a completely new level for them, completely new mechanics, completely new visuals. And these guys are two very good players. Both of them won their top 16 games by 2 seconds or more. So, you know, we're going to see a very, very close game. These are two of the stronger players that we've seen, definitely today, since we've only seen these two today. But overall, these are two good guys. And it's got some of these breaking walls that we saw in the exhibition match for the other guys.
I am liking the color schemes. Wow, I like that kind of like deep green with like red-orange tiles around it. It's very striking, and the lamps are also really nice. They kind of give a very kind of cozy atmosphere there. It's pretty darn cool. Really cool.
Yeah, although Gameguysd seems to have frozen, which is truly tragic. I'm assuming that the back-end guys are going to magically fix it as I talk.
Magic! Yay!
Great job to the back guys there. But this is an interesting one because this is, looking at that last level, it's very open and the routes were quite clear. There wasn't too much variety in it, but this has got up routes, down routes, sideways routes. There's going to be a lot of variety and a lot of exploration and testing in the early stages of this level.
Yeah, I can't wait to see all of it. Oh, and now we're seeing much more of the background, which is purple clouds and a silver moon. This is one crazy looking level. I really like it, and I expect you do too. I think you have a tiny proclivity for both green and or purple.
It has been noted that I do like both green and purple. People have highlighted this in the past, yes.
Oh my goodness.
But for me, the thing that's so beautiful about this level is the background, the moon with the clouds there, and then against the foreground you've got the street lights that are kind of like an old-timey style. And if you look at the start of the level here, the Gameguysd is going for, and now on Grondious' side, you've got that real foreground streetlight that really just looks so good against the silhouette. And then there's hot dogs. I didn't notice the hot dogs before, and now I'm kind of feeling hungry.
I hate hot dogs. I don't see the hot dogs, but that's a very good point. And again, the foreground, it is really, really nice. Really beautiful pixel art, really nice level design as well. That is something that has to be noted. The level design in this game has consistently been really good. Like, there's a lot of variety to how you jump, the different kind of obstacles, whether it's enemies or fire bars or just gaps, moving platforms, jump platforms, breakable things. There's a lot in this game, and there's a lot of variety as to trying to choose the right route to go on, whether you want to go up or down or however you want to kind of try to explore this level and get those diamonds. Now, one of the things that we know is the diamonds are not necessary to get. However, when they were showing the kind of the setup screen for this, there is a little thing that shows have you collected the diamond or not, which I found kind of interesting. Oh, okay. So that's actually tracked in the game, even though we don't have a use for them yet. It's going to be interesting to, it's just something as part of the game that you might want to collect if you are a completionist for things like this and trying to get everything that is kind of listed in the stats screens.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, I was just watching Grondious there trying to line up that dagger throw. He kind of has to jump up and over and then throw the dagger through as he does. It's quite tight, actually, and that's going to be the interesting point of that top route that he's trying to take, is can he get the dagger through that gap in time, as he just tries to work out the best way out of the gate at the moment. Whereas Gameguy is trying to, like, go back on himself, find his way to the top, but it's this experimental stage of the play that I actually really look forward to, is looking at how many different routes the guys actually try, or do they just find a quick route, say that's fast enough for me, and then just keep running it over and over again until they start optimizing it. How much time do you reckon they're going to spend theory crafting on this level?
You know, it's been kind of interesting in that both of these runners had a very similar strategy in their previous games, because we commentated both matches, and I felt like they both had this kind of like shorter period of exploration, and then they started optimizing early, and that is kind of what won them both of their matches previously. So I expect to kind of see them do that, maybe explore for maybe 10 minutes and then spend the rest of the 20 doing optimizations. But it does still look like they are exploring at this time, so we'll just see what they're going to find as the fastest route.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, we've talked about this before tonight, we've talked about it before in this tournament. The more time you spend optimizing one route, the more muscle memory you end up for that route. That is a fast run from Gameguy there. Just over 10 seconds. Really, really quick. But yeah, you know, you get the muscle memory, you start getting it in your head. So if you leave it too late to try a different route, you're going to have a real tough time getting that old muscle memory out of your head and understanding the new lineup of the level and the new routes and the new throwing angles that you've got to make. So it is important that they theory craft early and then they stick with what they've got.
Yeah, we've seen matches where people have gone back and forth because it's probably a frustration thing of like, oh my gosh, how do I get there? How do I get there as fast as my opponent? They don't know where to go. They keep switching routes, and that has ultimately cost them their match because they couldn't decide, they couldn't commit to a thing. Oh my gosh, there is a hot dog. Now I'm hungry. Sorry, Shiny. But yeah, that makes a huge difference in this kind of tournament format. So if you participate in one of these tournaments in the future, just keep that in mind. You know, sometimes it is better to optimize one route, but if you feel like it's completely optimized, then that's when you look for another route. But don't switch back and forth, because ultimately that muscle memory is going to betray you, and the kind of like memory of the level itself and all of those things needs to just be intact and not fussed with, because it can really mess you up.
Yeah, Gameguy has now really worked on optimizing that ending. He's getting the diagonal knife into the goal directly, which once he starts getting the beginning of this level sorted out and like optimized a little bit, that end is going to be very quick for him. So it will be interesting to see how Grondious does against this player, because Grondious has shown tonight alone, let alone for the rest of the tournament, but just how skillful he is when it comes to this skill expression and the input control that they have. Whereas Gameguy, just in the match before us, he might even be a little bit tired in comparison. It could be very effective for Grondious to really start optimizing this input play. And there you see at the end there, Gameguy landing that perfectly. Not quite as fast as his just over 10-second time previously, but certainly a fast way to finish out the level.
Yeah, indeed. As you've mentioned, they are both extremely skilled players. We saw lots of like very tight dagger throws from both players, and I think that's kind of what won them their previous matches. But you make a good point about Gameguy possibly being a bit tired. However, if he is a professional speedrunner, then he's going to be pretty used to the grind and probably plays many hours a day in doing this. I don't know him personally, but it is typical for speedrunners to just run for many hours a day. So hopefully he has the stamina for that. He certainly is performing amazingly in this level, missing a few here and there, but like you said, he already has posted a really good time. We
Absolutely.
do see the times updated, but I don't know if that is the latest or...
No, it's not. Gameguy has a 10-second time on the board. He is currently ahead of Grondious by about a second and a bit. The leaderboard there flashing up for a split second to allow you to see that. It really wound me up actually whilst you were talking there, because Gameguy dropped into the little section with the hot dog, and then instead of choosing to pick up the hot dog and then play the level, he just left it. Why would you leave a hot dog like that? It looks so delicious. It looks almost as delicious as this race is, and I just can't understand why he chose to not pick it up.
You know, I was thinking the same thing. I'm just like, what are those hot dogs for? And do they like minus your time extra? Or do they give you a speed boost? No, but I don't think we've seen anybody pick up a hot dog, but I do wonder if they do have a function rather than just being a collectible object.
I thought perhaps they replaced the diamonds for this sector, but as you see straight out of the gate, there is a diamond above the runners, so clearly there's something going on with these hot dogs. My concern would be if the runners did pick it up, would they become more sluggish from the weight, or would the energy boost give them the extra edge in this race?
Do you really have to ask that question? Hot dogs can be amazing. They're very tasty. I think it would give them a boost, for sure. Just even the taste molecules entering the olfactory senses and the brain, it would just like spur them onward. You know they've got to be a speed boost.
Well, the knowledge of a hot dog has given Grondious a speed boost. He hit a sub 10 time just then.
Wow.
It was so fast, so early on into this race.
Obviously, he's not grabbing the hot dog, but maybe it's just the thought that counts as he gets that faster time.
Yeah, and just to be clear, we're not sponsored by any hot dog companies. We are just talking about how delightful hot dogs can be. 9.52 seconds on the clock there from Grondious.
Now I'm just thinking of hot dogs. You've messed me up, Avalon. And I think chat wants hot dogs as well.
But it's going to be great because the thing is that Game Guy has really perfected that ending, whereas Grondious has really perfected the beginning. So as they begin sort of matching out, as Grondious gets better at the ending and Game Guy gets better at the beginning, the time's going to get closer and closer and closer, and we might even see a sub 8 on this track.
Oh wow, what an interesting exhibition that was. They both started at exactly the same time, and as you said, Grondious is much better at the beginning, Game Guy better at the ending, and they all struggled in their non-optional or non-optimal bits. And it was kind of sad to see that they both made mistakes and kind of ended at the end at almost the same time, and it was like neither of them got a high score because of their chosen perfected areas yet, but hopefully they work on that and kind of get further on. Of course, saying that, we have almost 20 minutes for them to still play and perfect and maybe even explore a little bit, but it does look like they have found a chosen route because they have been running this a bit consistently here now.
Most definitely, and Game Guy has just put on a sub 10 time as well, so that's now both of them below the 10-second mark. And like you say, with just under 20 minutes left, there is still a lot of optimizing to go. I am really excited to see how low these guys can get this time, because there's still so many mistakes in the run. And Game Guy picked up the hot dog. That's it. Game Guy's won the whole tournament now. That's what we've been waiting for this whole time.
Yes. So, chat, what are your favorite toppings to put on a hot dog, or do you like them naked? We want to know. We want to know all the answers here. That was this is starting to be a really close match. Really excited to see where our runners go from here. Just fractions of a second between them. And we knew this was going to be an exciting match because both of these runners put up times more than 2 seconds above their competitors. So this is going to be really tight, I think. And I wonder, what do you predict as a low time, Avalon?
I think this level can be brought down to a 8.25 quite reasonably. But with that time that Game Guy just put up on the board, is actually 9.37 to 9.39. This game is 0.02 seconds between these two runners. They are so close together.
Oh, this is such a match, and this kind of a gap, you know, when you see that on the leaderboard, I feel like that's kind of different than seeing a 2-second gap. This is more of like, okay, you know, critical gap, let's go, and kind of try to beat your opponent because you know you're close, you're probably doing the same route. Of course, our runners are probably not watching each other, so they don't know what routes they're running, but they know that they're very close.
Yeah, this actually came up before where it was queried, are they allowed to watch the stream at the same time? And it's not strictly against the rules, but I would be very impressed if someone can make movements like this whilst watching someone else play the same game in the same level. Because I tell you what, there's no way I could play this game whilst watching these guys. This is so many inputs so quickly. Look how quickly Grondious comes out of that starting gate. It is absolutely incredible. And then Game Guy at the end is just nearly pixel perfect. If you combine these guys' two routes, I actually think you might be able to get a sub 8, and Grondious has just come in with the sub 9, 8.54 seconds, a whole second faster than Gameguy.
Wow, and just a quarter of a second off of your predicted time. That is going really fast, and you can see where the perfecting, the optimizing, and practice is coming into play. That muscle memory is starting to really take hold, and we're getting really much more perfected runs here and getting lower and lower times.
Yeah, and we've still got over 15 minutes on the clock for these two very, very skilled runners to keep grinding times down more and more and more. 8.72 from Gameguy now. They're both sub 9. They're both really, really bringing these times in.
That's exciting. I'm wondering about that hot dog. Did you see if it had cheese on it? I heard someone likes cheese.
The hot dog in the game has mustard on it. Chat seemed to want onions and mustard, and I'm disappointed with chat for not bringing up cheese, because if you haven't got cheese on a hot dog, what is the point? You're already eating unhealthily. Go all the way.
Well, yeah, that is an option, definitely. I don't know, I tend to like my hot dogs naked, but it has to be a very specific kind of hot dog. I like one brand because I tried it on a train trip one time, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best hot dog I've ever had. And it was much more high quality than the ones I was used to. So ever since then, I have always bought those, and I just delight in this sort of smoky flavor. They're pretty great. Yeah. So, and we also have a vote for mayonnaise. Cheese, no cheese, all the things, which is pretty great. But getting back to our match here, and chat, obviously we have to find something to talk about because these folks are really optimizing these levels and not giving us much to say. They are just really doing perfect inputs and getting through these so darn fast. It's just really delightful to watch them play.
Yeah, it's really tough. I mean, both Catherine and I, we commentate quite frequently, but these are too quick for us to actually effectively keep up with them. The inputs are so fast, and they're just going to get faster and faster as these guys start optimizing this level even further.
Yeah, it's just thrilling to watch them go through, and we can see them every now and again just like practicing a particular section, trying to perfect those movements even more as they try to post the best time here. Looks like we have very, very low numbers. Gameguy at an 8.68 according to our display, and Grondious ahead of that a bit at 9.37. Grondious just spent time to look at that leaderboard and just see how far behind he is, and that's a very, very small amount of time separating them. Oh, and Grondious now at an 8.48. That's even a smaller amount of time, and now Grondious is in the lead.
It's neck and neck, Catherine. These guys, they keep knocking PBs up on the board. They keep bringing it closer and closer and closer together, and I just cannot begin to explain how close these two runners are. They are two very skilled runners. Of course, we are in the quarterfinals. These are the top 8 runners out of 4,000 participants. So it's no surprise that it's such a close and intense game. But we've still got... I keep banging on about how much time we've got left. And the reason I keep bringing up that we've still got more than 13 minutes is that these guys still have more than 13 minutes to optimize this level and really show us what they can do. Where Gameguy has worked towards the end and got that down, and where Grondious has perfected the beginning, once they start sorting out the end for Grondious and the beginning for Gameguy, I might have overestimated my time. We could see a sub 8 on this level.
I am really excited to see how low the runners get. And, we talk about these times, 8.45 or 8.66 or 68. But those amounts of time are very, very small. A second is a very short amount of time. So these folks are just within frames of each other, finishing this, moving so similarly that they are that close in time. So obviously we're seeing the skill level of the players here, and also the strategy, because they've both chosen the same route to go and they're perfecting that route, each in their different way. Grondious starting at the beginning, Gameguy starting at the end, and I'm with 12 minutes left, 12 and a half minutes, they still have tons of time to kind of get through the other sections more perfectly.
And there is one thing that's really interesting. We watched it in our exhibition game where two people were running two different routes, but they were still running almost the same time. At one point they did have the same PB despite running 2 different routes. So it makes you wonder, when you guys pick up this game, you know, you can type !Aeon into Steam chat, into Twitch chat, sorry, and you'll get the Steam link. Pick up this game. Take the extra time to look around this level. What's going on below the map? What's going on above this route they're taking? Is there a faster way that these guys just didn't have time to find in this tournament setting?
Yeah, they are under intense pressure to find a good route, or good enough, because they only have the 30 minutes to perfect that, to find it, perfect it, and do their exploring. And it could be that there is a faster route, but maybe they just haven't found it yet, or maybe the first or few runs that took them there were not perfected enough, so it felt so much slower. So we are very anxious to see your reaction to that. If you can find a faster route, post your times here. That's an interesting, that would be cool to see. Yeah, if you've played this level, post your time in chat and let us know how you've gotten on. And if you can do a little bit better than our runners, we're very curious about that.
Absolutely, and I mean, the Aeon development team, Too Awesome and Critical Reflex, they actually have a Discord that you can join. You can post your times, you can share your clips, you can show each other what you found, and you can learn from other players. And then, you know, when this next tournament comes around, I've got no idea when they're going to do it, but I'm really hoping it's soon. But when the next tournament comes around, we'll see a whole new bunch of players that have had a good couple of months to actually learn everything about this game. And then we're going to see times that are even faster. Like, we're super impressed at the moment with these sub-9 times, but could we be looking at, you know, like a sub-5 on this level due to some weird route that we haven't considered? Maybe the hot dog is the secret.
I bet it is. I bet it's the hot dog. You might spend, you know, half a second getting into that room and grabbing that hot dog, but who knows? You could be jet propelled when you come out. You could have like flying abilities or a jetpack, or who knows? Because that hot dog is clearly magical and needs to be picked up. Too bad we didn't get to see people actually use the hot dog.
Most definitely. Well, I tell you one thing that has come up from this, because Grondious just put it on an 8.3 second time, which is just bonkers quick when you think about where they started on this level. And it is just proving my point about the green character, you know? She clearly is the fastest one.
Does it count if she only has green hair and like a blue outfit? Because like the pants are blue.
I mean, you know,
they're
hair
not
is...
purple.
Hair can't be changed in colour. You get one hair colour when you're born and it never changes. No way to dye it or anything like that. Whereas clothes, you can change every day. Twice a day if you want to be a bit extra with it.
Well, yeah, I guess some people change it twice a day. They have their regular clothes and then they have their PJs. But I guess you could do PJs. That's what a lot of content creators do. Don't change any clothes any times a day. But you are correct. You can change that, but they have chosen to wear blue pants. So where do you stand on that? The choice has been made. I mean, they might have been born with the talent to be fast because they're green. But what about the clothing choice?
I have to say, even with my love for green, even with my abhorrence towards blue trousers on a green-haired person, Grondious has just put 8.02 seconds on the clock. That is insanely fast. He has clearly not had a banana, peach, and mango pizza. What on earth are you doing?
It actually sounds like a dessert
and it's
pizza.
thrown me.
No, it sounds like it sounds interesting. I don't know how that would go well with bread, as in pizza base, but it sounds most interesting. Apparently, we've started a crazy food chat in chat instead of talking about the game. I think our chat is so impressed by the runners, they want to compete on the food side of things because these runners have smoking hot times. Even lower than the Great Avalon predicted at 8.02. That is crazy fast.
It really is, and that run came from Grondious doing that diagonal dagger throw at the end of the level that I've been highlighting that Gameguysd's been doing the whole way through this. So Grondious has already perfected the beginning of the level. Now he's picked up Gameguysd's ending, and these are the times that we're seeing. You know, this is exactly what I said would happen. Eventually they're going to perfect both ends of this level, and the times is going to start falling away.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we're going to see a sub-8 in this tournament, or even 7-something, maybe close to 7.0 from people who have had a chance to play this a little longer. I don't know if we can see that within the next 7 minutes, but it's going to be interesting to see if our runners can make that journey and do everything perfectly, and yeah, just make sure all the inputs are correct, the route is correct, all the things are right.
Yeah, and I mean, you say there's still, 7 minutes on the clock, but really, I thought it'd be a lot less at this point. The level of optimization these guys have found in this level, I thought we'd be looking at like, 3 minutes left, like they'd put in 25 plus minutes into this, but they still haven't even put 25 minutes into this level. There's still so much time for them to find additional speed. Gameguy here showing off the way that he does things. He made a mistake in the level, and rather than just immediately resetting, he's actually spending the time to perfect that section, and that way when he comes back to it next time, he'll know where the points are, what the range on the dagger is, and what he can do differently to be even faster. And this is what we saw him do in the last race he was in. He was taking those mistakes and the time that he gained from making those mistakes to then improve his time further and further, and that's how he ended up 2 seconds ahead. And Grondious is just resetting endlessly, and I'm wondering if maybe that's Gameguysd back into this race. Is it that he has practiced this middle section now, which is the clear difference between the two runners, is this middle section, and if Gameguy can get this down, potentially he could get that sub 8 time in.
Yeah, and he is doing really well in that middle section. It's been... oh gosh, I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to mention something about our runners here. Oh yes, that's right. I had this impression of like, how we were talking about the runners maybe not getting benefit if they've run Celeste before? I feel like they are using the same kind of optimizations that they had in the previous levels that they've done today, and maybe that kind of thinking has transferred over into this match, because it seems like they're using very similar techniques to get through these levels, whereas some of our other runners were just sort of like if you were to start the level from the first time, let's throw the dagger straight, see if we can get across, kind of like a noob runner would do, even though they've had all these practice hours trying to qualify for the tournament. They have kind of lost that as they've been playing this, and then some of them have gained it back to get better and better times and win their particular brackets. But here we see both players who seem to be equally matched in skill, and it's really thrilling to see them use those optimizations they've had from previous rounds and use that creative thinking in this particular level.
That is one thing that's been interesting about this tournament, where the game is so new, where it is so unplayed and people don't know the ins and outs. The early stages of the tournaments, your mechanical ability was enough to kind of coast through on. You could just be better at the game in general than other players. But now at this level, it's literally those micro inputs that you're doing. Again, opportunity here to watch Grondious out of the gate. Watch how quickly he gets himself up into this section, whereas Gameguy is just a little bit slower than that. And it's that level of difference now that we're at this stage in the tournament that is making like the gap between them. You can't just coast through on your mechanics anymore. You have to be perfect.
Yeah, and watching that pursuit of perfection is what we're doing right now. It's really kind of interesting to see how they're approaching this. As you mentioned, Gameguy kind of perfecting the last stages, Grondious starting with the beginning and then resetting every time they fail a particular throw or a jump didn't go their way. But Grondious still having the faster time, despite Gameguy perfecting those other sections of the run. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can catch Grondious. Hopefully there's a couple more PBs in our future. We still have 3 minutes left to see any more improvements they can make to this.
Yeah, and that pursuit of perfection has now been achieved by chat. A chili cheese dog pizza is the way to go. That is the best in every possible world. But with further perfection coming in, I am sure we can see a sub 8 time on this stage. And with these two runners and the skill that they bring to this game, I think with 3 minutes, one of them can get it.
I'm really hoping we'll have like a magical run from Gameguy just to kind of get Grondious's time, and then maybe Grondious will see that and spur him on further. But there's not much time left. Still, each level doesn't take that long to run, obviously, as we have seen. Probably at least, 13 seconds or something like that when you include the timers and the intermediary screens and the countdown timer as well. Oh, he went for the hot dog there. Nice. Yeah, Gameguy needing some fortification for the day. Hungry. I hope he's hungry enough to get that time. It'll be interesting to see if he can make it.
Yeah, I don't know what time it is for you Americans at the moment, but I know for a fact that it is dinner time for me, and the hot dog is enticing. I'm sorry for the huge divergence we've taken focused on this hot dog, but with less than 2 minutes of the clock now, these guys, they need to decide, are they going to get the hot dog or are they going to get this sub-8 time that we need to see on the board?
I almost wish that the hot dog was a jetpack and that somebody finds it last minute and coasts through the level. But it's unlikely to happen, as they are very strictly committed to their routes and finding the way to get through this. Oh, come on, folks. We can get a sub-8. I want to see it. I want to see it in this match. Let's go.
I want to put the team behind the scenes on the spot. I want to know what happens if there's a draw, because I've checked the rules and we haven't got a plan. And I want to see Gameguy get a 7.98 at the exact same time that Grondious gets 7.98, and I want to see the back end scramble trying to work out how we're going to separate these two amazing runners.
They really are fabulous. Their skill is so well matched in this exhibition here, in this match. It's really a pleasure to watch them, because it's definitely a competition, and I believe that Gameguy can get closer to Grondious's time. He just needs to get everything correct. Less than a minute left to have that happen, though, and that was not a great run there. So we're gonna have to restart. Hopefully he can get it, but we'll see.
You can see the consistency coming from these guys. Nearly all of their runs now are sub 9 seconds. You know, it's coming out now. Grondious just put a 8.13 on the clock, which, you know, it's not a new PB, but it is still very, very, very fast. And it just shows that it's not just a fluky run that's made it through at a decent time. It is a consistent skill these guys have put up. And unless Gameguy gets it in these next two runs, I can't believe that we're going to be seeing him leave during the quarterfinals. I generally had Gameguy pegged for one of the top runners.
Yeah, he's been so good in his previous matches. It would be a shame to see him go, but we can only have one winner for these, and it does appear it's going to be Grondious for this particular match. Thank you to both runners for doing such an amazing job in this match. It was such a pleasure to watch the skill displayed, and just how they were kind of functioning very similarly, finding the routes in a similar way, choosing to optimize it about the same time, and really making this a match to be excited about.
Absolutely, it's just the opening that Grondious found a lot earlier. Gameguy was attempting it to the end, but it was too little too late, because Grondious had already perfected it and started doing the same ending as Gameguy, just to really put some speed on the clock. So great game from both players here. Grondious just taking the win by just over half a second. Really close game.
Yeah, very impressive display of skill, and Grondious will be moving forward.
Absolutely. So shortly after this, we'll be passing over to the amazing ALT Insider with Electric for another top 16 game with Fluffy Prower and the charming Cthulhu.